This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rolla. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a number of new investments coming to Grand Bahama, and the leading executive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, says it is a positive sign for the nation's second city. Roll, in an interview with our Joan Davis Roll, disclosed that a number of new projects have already been approved.
In an exclusive interview with ZNS News, the president of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, says Grand Bahama is indeed on the move. He stated that hot on the heels of the official opening of the multi-million-dollar Memories Resort will come a new era in this island's growth and development.
The grand opening of the Memories is a major catalyst for this island, and it reminds us of the many things to come during 2014.
The top port executive now foreshadowing that this island's economy will soon begin to soar with the port's approval of a number of major investments.
We have a hydrocarbon business, actually two, online for this current period. We have a new franchise coming into Grand Bahama. We have a new tourism-related product coming on stream in Grand Bahama. So there are a number of different projects that we have licensed already, and they're just doing their homework to complete their plans.
You talked about the franchise. Can you give us an idea? An international chain, obviously it's one that's well known and well.
I can say that it's a well-known, well-funded chain.
In the meantime, while the port president remains tight-lipped, ZNS News has learned that the Zabaros restaurant chain will be coming to Grand Bahama soon. Roll said another leading investment for Grand Bahama, the once highly anticipated call center, officially commissioned by the nation's leader, the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, on January 9th of this year, also got the economic wheels turning on this northern island.
At the beginning of the year, the very first entity that we attracted here was the call center operation. That opened its doors with about 70 persons, and by the end of the year, we would like to see that grow, and we hope that it will grow based on information that we have to 300 employees by the end of the year.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Some practitioners in the local government system not at all happy with recent amendments to the Act, some of them calling the proposed changes counterproductive. The amendments were tabled in Parliament earlier this month. Tonight, Freeport's chief counselor is stating his position. Natalie Martinborough has this story.
Chief Counsellor for the City of Freeport, Kevin Ferguson, not mincing words when it comes to the local government amendments.
When I heard some of the amendments, I thought it was the death of decentralization and autonomy. It's like moving backwards. This just disheartens the whole process in my mind, and I have a strong opinion with regards to what I believe in, and local government is something that I simply believe in.
But the chief counsellor is adamant that local government appears to be headed in the wrong direction, and while he accepts a few of the amendments, he maintains that instead of dabbling with some 28 sections of the Act, the government should have put a new Act in place. He says if passed into law, these changes could only discourage Bahamians from making a real contribution to the process. One area he is taking issue with is the provision regarding the employment or appointment of persons to assist with running the local government council.
District councils have been taking it upon themselves and hiring people for central government agencies without consultation with the ministers of those agencies, and probably have been abusing it. But those type of things didn't happen in Grand Bahama. As a matter of fact, if you really want the truth be told, members of parliament and ministers were sending certain persons to district council and asking them to assist them. And the one like me, you send them to me. If I ain't got no place for them to be in local government, then I don't have no place to put you.
Another area of frustration is the issuance of business license.
Do you know what it is for me to wake up in the morning, living on the side of a church, and wake up because somebody in Nassau don't know nothing but the community, issue a license assignment to open up a strip joint next door to my house and my church? Huh? That make any sense? And that's what's happening, foolish stuff just like that.
Ferguson believes the local authorities should make these decisions, but there are some provisions that he accepts, chief among them the appointment of a director of local government.
the minister is the minister for this, he's the minister for that. The PS, she's the permanent secretary for this and that. So when you look at appointing a director, this is like a father for local government, someone who wants to raise local government as a productive child. And so I welcome that. And I hope that the person who they appoint is someone who has that kind of passion for the development of local government.
The chief counselor contends that some of the amendments are not properly thought out and recommends that their changes be reviewed before they are passed into law. Natalie Martinborough, ZNS Network News.
Now, Minister for Local Government V. Alfred Gray tabled the amendments in Parliament. Speaking to ZNS News on the issue today, the minister said the amendments will only enhance the process.
The amendments certainly strengthen, as I understand it, the local government processes. There are certain aspects of the amendments which put some control in place, because I don't know whether you know, but there are some local government councils that have been doing things and committing the central government, and we thought that there must be some oversight on some of the things they do, so that there is a measure of control, rather than everybody doing all the things they want to do when they want to do it, without any kind of reference to what is the policies of the government generally.
Now, Minister Gray says nothing in the bill takes away from the autonomy of local government council except for the hiring process.
Because they were just doing it as though there's no limits on money for hiring people. And if they think they should hire without some consultation with the central government, then no, the government feels that that is what brought us to the trouble we're in now. And so I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, that they will have to consult with the central government before they hire people, because when they do, we will expect them to hire people on contract, rather than having them expect one day to become civil servants.
The brutal death of 15-year-old Alexis Smith late last month has raised a number of concerns. The young girl was gunned down outside a nightclub in the King subdivision in 8 Mile Rock. 34-year-old Basil Black of Pinedale, 8 Mile Rock, was charged with Smith's murder a week later. Now, in light of the circumstances surrounding the teenager's death, local pastors are speaking out. Pastor of Universal Household of Faith, Bishop Ricardo Grant, and Bishop Leslie Woodside say this incident should be a wake-up call for parents.
The Bible says, train a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. We can never get away from Scripture. We can never get away from the principles of Christ, because family was instituted by the Master. And certainly, we want to continue to hold up the value of families. You know, the values that the Master instilled to us by way of the Word, as far as how families should be reared together. Husbands and wives loving one another, teaching and training and loving their children, and ensuring that we have a strong community.
Parents must recognize their sacred responsibilities and know that children are a heritage of the Lord and were loaned to them for care and protection. And it is the responsibility of parents to rear their children in the fear of righteousness.
Pastor of Freedom International Ministry, Bishop Sobek Kemp, and Director of the Pro Cathedral of Christ the King, Archdeacon Harry Bain, believe the laws need to be fully enforced as it relates to nightclubs.
No, we need to really apply the laws that are related to these special issues. Just this morning, you see various infractions from time to time, and I was just saying to somebody else, what's good for one should be good for everybody. And so, when you enforce law, it needs to be enforced by all and sundry. Need to be included. And so that's the problem. This selectivity of law is enforcement. We've got to be very careful about that.
I also think that those persons who have license for these places ought to be accountable. They ought to be accountable for who enters their premises, whether these persons qualify. So identification establishing your age should be required. And the law enforcement agencies should be more vigilant, in my view, of monitoring these places.
Well, police have identified this island's latest alleged drowning victim. He is 55-year-old Chester Bethel of Almond Road, Piners Loop. Police tell us that Bethel was swimming in the canal at Xanadu Beach on Sunday afternoon when he encountered difficulties. He was reportedly assisted to shore but was unresponsive and was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigations into this matter are continuing. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The 10th Annual Bahamas Outstanding Student Foundation Award ceremony held to honor and highlight primary students that have maintained a 3.0 grade point average or above. The ceremony held at Calvary Temple under the theme, Keeping Your Eyes on the Prize.
Chief Counselor, Freeport City Local Government.
Primary students from across the island were rewarded for their continued excellence in academics and athletics this past Monday evening. Senator Tanisha Tynes reminded the students that in order to achieve their goals, they must first believe in themselves and then work hard at always becoming better.
This evening's honorees have distinguished themselves among their peers as a result are being recognized by their administrators, teachers, the Bahamas Outstanding Students Foundation, and by and large, the Grand Bahama community. I congratulate all of the honorees this evening.
Former veteran educator Dr. Cecil Thompson congratulating, commending, and saluting the students who he says has the potential and opportunity to achieve any goal they set their eyes on.
I believe in parents. It goes without saying, I believe in students. In teachers. But the ones who I have the greatest hope in are the students. You. In your little hands, you have the future of the country. And you think what happened in the past is the best is yet to come. And you will determine the best.
Dr. Thompson says that the country has its fair share of irresponsible parents, but the good teacher sees beyond that and focuses on the prize, which is a successful student. Noting that Grand Bahama has some of the best teachers in their country, he sent a challenge to both parents and teachers in raising the next generation.
If you don't like the crop you're reaping, check the seeds you're sowing. Parents and teachers, when you listen to the news tomorrow morning, when you read the newspapers tomorrow, when you have all the bad news, that's the crop you're reaping. You don't like the crop. The question is what you're doing about it. Let's check the seeds. The seeds are in the homes and the seeds are in the classroom. And the country is dependent on you to do it right. That's where the future of the Bahamas lie.
Dr. Thompson also challenged the students to keep up their drive for success as they continue in their academic journey. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
And still on the education beat, Lukai International School winning a prestigious national award. The private institution recently beat out 18 other schools to capture the Bahamas Model United Nations competition. The competition, held in the nation's capital earlier this month, aims to equip young minds with critical thinking, public speaking, research, and problem-solving skills through stimulation environment. Leader of the school, Sharon Wilson, calls it an engaging debate that students will be able to learn from.
It's all about showing students about the internationalism of the world and how even a little country like the Bahamas is part of the United Nations. They will actually, one of their prizes, they will actually be able to go to the United Nations and sit with the Bahamas delegation and see the sessions that goes on. They actually have to run sessions themselves, make up projects. They have to take part in everything that goes on, and it's really a comprehensive and very detailed program that they have to go through.
Now, this is the second time the school has participated in the competition, and after 7 months of preparation, team members were ready for victory. Sophie Payne, Melina Leonard, and Andrew Goodrum are members of the winning team.
We really went in depth with our research as to both our topics, which was privacy in the digital age and migration. So we had to first off find our basic facts about the country, and after we did that, we were able to form answers towards these topics. And by doing this research, we were able to answer the crisis simulation because we had a background of our country's position.
In the morning, we talked about forming a resolution that related to the right to privacy in the digital age. And then we went into a crisis simulation where we were given a crisis that was happening, and our crisis was actually some sexual assaults in Syria right now. So we had to formulate a response to this crisis in our country's perspective, and we represented Tunisia, which is in northern Africa.
I gave this speech, which was in the afternoon session, and it was on whether or not migration was a positive impact on the countries that were affected by it. And it was just, I'd never given a speech before. I do a lot of theater, but I'm not really a public speaker as myself. So it was a very interesting experience. It was a positive one. I feel like I'm a better person because I did it.
I adjusted pretty well, I think, and it was a very beneficial experience to see how everything worked. And it was lots of hard work. We spent a lot of time preparing for the event, and we did our research, and I felt like we did really well in the conference.
Well, LIS received a number of awards as well, including Best Overall Trophy and Best Session Award. The Grand Bahama School will chair next year's competition. And that's a look at stories making news at the hour. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn has a check on sports when we come back.
Everybody at Sports Time, I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Let's get right to it. The Grand Bahama Flag Football League on the gridiron at the Plex on Sunday. The Lady Enforcers and Piranhas played a game that they are still talking about. The fans at the Plex for week 2 of flag football play. The Police Lady Enforcers against the Freeport Container Port Piranhas, and the Enforcers with the speed in the backfield, the breakaway, and a touchdown, the early lead in the ball game. The Lady Enforcers feeling it and the momentum for the time. Flag football is a touch game, but someone forgot to tell the ladies that. These gals are tough. The Piranhas with the pigskin, the pass play, and some positive yards. Football is a game of momentum, and the Piranhas up the gut. This is flag football. Flag, ladies, flag. Second and goal, Freeport Container Port with the play option and the dump here to the tight end. We've got ourselves a ball game, and we're tied. The Lady Enforcers on offense went to the playbook, watched the end around play. The Piranhas defense got caught off guard, and the police speed out of the back kicks in, and she will go all the way. That scores. The Lady Enforcers have regained the lead. The Piranhas needing a play to catch up. Watch the pass. The Lady Enforcers defense stepped up and got the pick. Talk about celebration. The Lady Enforcers feeling pretty good right now. The Piranhas needing to push and give a run and revert it to the pass for some positive yards. The tight end has some good hands. Piranhas stayed with the high-flying attack, and the results were positive. The Lady Enforcers got a break. This one is going to be called back. The Police Lady Enforcers held on for the 12-6 win in a real competitive game. The ISS Lady Marines also defeated the High Rock Stingers 6-0. Okay, Lady Enforcers, you can now celebrate your big win, the pride of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Well, folks, the Atlantic Medical Fun Walk was held over the weekend, and just in case you missed it, we got a treat for you. What an event that was on Saturday. And as you can see from the photos, no Shashina Roll. That's a look at your sports tonight.